as a strength.
Well, Avant Garde have started off the banning here. Hecarim and Alistar already removed from that side. Sivir is taken away from Warble by the Chiefs. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are on 5.13, so a whole lot of changes to a lot of AP items. There's all sorts of things that have changed here for both of these sides as far as their power picks are concerned, and we'll see whether the Chiefs are going to be able to pick up Kalista, because she took a bit of a hit in this patch.
Yeah, she certainly did, and the man that you'd think would have gotten buffed is Kensti, because his champion pool is ridiculous, but he plays a lot of Vladimir, and changed to Spirit Visage, made it a little bit stronger. You know, it's much easier to get into your big AP items now, like the Death Cap, because of the reduction of the needlessly large rod. You don't have to sit in lane for as long, so Kensti should be a little bit stronger on this patch.
Slightly empowered, but as I was talking about it before, Kalista is going to be removed from Radiant, not able to play that champion. The Chiefs now making sure that they decide correctly for their final ban. You can see Swiper there on your screen getting ready to take away the Fizz.
They take away Fizz. That means Rumble is still available. The other champion I wanted to touch on, Swiper plays it a lot. Porky plays it more, and arguably better than Swiper if you look at the numbers coming into the game. And with the Rylash change, with the change to Leandre, is a big boost to the mid-game power that comes through of that Rumble.
Yeah, and Porky just does so much damage for his side. 23.8% as a top laner is pretty out of control. 30 seconds now on the clock, but it looks like Corki is going to be the focus for Avant. They take it away from Radia. He's been very vocal about loving that champion.
Yeah, he certainly has. Prioritizes over Kalista at the moment, so they ban away the Kalista, they pick up the Corki for themselves. He plays a little bit of Lucian. He's played it throughout the season, even when Lucian wasn't really known to be that carry. So wonder whether they go for something like the Lucian Braum lane in the bot lane.
Yeah, could be the Lucian Braum. I was thinking maybe even a Graves could potentially come in here, as 5.13 has unlocked that champion a little bit. But speculative stuff here as the Chiefs take some time working out what their first couple of picks are going to be. Oh, and Spawn's actually going to die just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely fine. He'll be back with us in a moment. As Swiper and Spooks, they are really deliberating here.
Yeah, they certainly are. Discussing it as a team, making sure that they're on the right track, and they are going to lock in Maokai for Swiper, so not one of his carry top laners.
Yeah, and Spook's actually going to take away the Rek'Sai here as well. So the Chiefs enigmatic in their first couple of picks here, as the Tree and Rek'Sai don't really give too much away as far as what this comp wants to do.
Well, the Rek'Sai pick away makes a lot of sense, because Shelby plays it incredibly well, likes to challenge the top lane. So if you're going to pick a neutral top lane like Maokai, who has a lot of CC, so between them they can win out in a game, it's important to get it away from Shelby. Interested to see whether he does default back to the Gragas coming into this, because that would be a lot of magic damage early on in the draft.
Yeah, there's also the fact that, you know, Rek'Sai able to deny that Evelynn pick as well. A lot of people have moved back towards Eve as we've switched over and things have changed a bit in the meta. So Tremor Sense making it a little bit more difficult to pick up that champion. Yeah,
Runeglaive definitely a good one offensive item coming through for Evelynn on the current patch. So we'll have to see whether it does work out, as we've got the potential for a Gnar being taken into the top lane, and another huge champion for Porky, and should be able to bully the Maokai around.
Yeah, Porky, able to throw around boomerangs on the top side of the map. Swiffer with a cheeky hover of the Yasuo that I highly doubt he's going to play. But Kensti also locked away Destiny's Morgana, so the bottom lane already there for Avant, unless they want to try something interesting, and I wouldn't put it past Kensti to play something else.
And not a facilitation bottom lane. This is a bottom lane that should be able to go toe-to-toe with whatever Radia and Aegin want to bring out, and at least go even, because Corki is such that lane bully that spikes a little bit earlier than other AD carries with the Trinity Sork Boots pickup. We'll have to see whether Warble is able to make that one work. And once again, really ambiguous comp coming through from a little bit of AoE, a lot of anti-dive with Morgana and Gnar being put on the same team, and it is going to be Lucian Braum.
Yeah, and I love this lane, of course. That double tap with the Light Slinger, able to proc that passive so incredibly easily, as Aegin's going to throw out those Winter's Bites. So we'll see whether Avant can stand up to it, but very aggressive for both of these bottom lanes.
Yeah, that bottom lane is going to be a lot of pressure on Destiny right now, because he needs to be on point with those Black Shields, make sure he gets it through just before the last auto attack comes through for that Winter's Bite, because there's a little bit of magic damage that comes out of Lucian and Braum as well. So needs to make sure that it doesn't get popped, but aggressive bottom lane coming through for the Chiefs, but a lot of passivity throughout the rest of the Rift. Want to see whether they go for something like an Azir to get another scaling option into that mid lane.
Yeah, that would be a lot of extra damage. A lot of AoE as well in the magic damage front, and they do want to be team fighting with this Maokai running around. Vengeful Maelstrom, pretty handy there. And Kensti, of course, no look at that Vladimir just yet, is considering it, but Shelby going back to Sejuani, not deciding to do so. Understandable move, as the Gragas is what's going to finally be locked in here for Avant, and that's the lineup. Yeah,
a lot of magic damage coming out of Avant's lineup with the AoE damage of the Vladimir, with Corki coming in. So Porky, a lot of pressure to be able to maybe pick himself up a Black Cleaver and be able to contribute to the physical damage to give them a legitimate threat in that regard. But their wombo combo is absolutely bonkers. You throw a Hemoplague down on top of the Mega Gnar, and it's just going to mean so much damage across the entirety of the Chiefs lineup.
Yeah, and then of course Destiny, or Shelby, is going to be able to disengage so effectively with that explosive cask if Avant find themselves in a sticky situation. So the Chiefs now thinking about what they want to give Swiffer, and he's got a few opportunities here as far as what he wants to pick up. He can grab the Twisted Fate if he feels like it, feels like getting around the map early, but we'll see what the Chiefs decide to do. Of course, the mid lane, somewhere that's changed quite a lot since 5.13, but it is going to be Swiffer heading back to the Azir.
Yeah, not surprised to see the Azir. They need something to disengage the team fight well, be able to shove the Mega Gnar and Kensti off their team and be able to continue the team fight. You look at the relative power coming through. Chiefs might spike a little bit earlier with their ultimates coming through there, be able to control the map, but if you ever run into a 5v5 team fight against Avant right now, there are just so many weapons that you need to take into consideration, and the super scaling through coming through from Vladimir means that Corki, who normally drops off, won't be able to do that.
Yeah.
All the damage that's going to come through Shelby and Destiny going to be amplified a little bit more, so all of a sudden you have legitimate threats in the jungle and support role. Chiefs need to be careful, because if they fall behind a scaling composition like this, Avant could just take over the mid game.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that Porky's on this Gnar as well, and he's no slouch in the damage front, especially if you make it to that Mega Gnar form. And Porky known to eke out as much damage from his champion as he can.
Yeah, certainly will. And I want to see whether Avant go for a lane swap here and really try and protect their bottom lane, foster maybe a little bit of a CS lead. Porky performs okay in lane swaps as we go back historically, and that is something that the Chiefs would really ask the big question of during IWCI. How good are you at lane swapping? They came up wanting in that situation. Improved it a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if Avant asks the question again.
Well, we'll see if they do. But ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you. Hop onto Twitter. Use that hashtag AVWin if you think that Avant have got this with their Wombo Combo comp. Or if you feel like the Chiefs are going to continue their undefeated streak, use that hashtag CHFWin and hop on over to Twitter. I'm excited to see what you guys think as we hop into this game, because man, it's all on the line now.
Yeah, it certainly is, you know, and both teams look like they got exactly what they wanted. Not really many high priority picks taken off the board. Azir, Vladimir came through. You have the Braum as well. And you take a look at the Avant lineup. They look pretty concentrated.
Yeah, concentrating. In fact, the Chiefs as well. Not necessarily as relaxed as they were walking in. But ladies and gentlemen, we are onto the Rift for AV versus Chiefs. Blows already traded by our AD carries here, standing around the mid lane. And they're battling for that more deep ward, which is generally what happens. Winter's Bite has landed onto Destiny, as Ejim does have a chair. Can smack him with it if he wants to. Both of these wards actually taking a couple of hits. But a defensive start for both sides.
Yeah, spread out as 5, so no invades going to be coming through. Deep vision will not be granted, just a line of scrimmage across. And you have to think that this will probably mean standard lanes for both sides.
Yeah, very deep ward put down there right next to Swiper as well, as we take a look across the vista. Beautiful. Thanks, Porky, for standing up near that lovely view, as Warble and Destiny hanging down towards these Krugs, and we'll see whether they actually start off on one of these and try and grab themselves some extra experience.
Wouldn't be surprised if they start the mini Krug. Would be surprised if they take both, just because it means that you're not able to shove the lane, and you need to be able to shove against an aggressive lane like the Lucian. As we have Kensti trying to stop the sapling take here by Swiffer. If he gets the 3 little CS, of course, will hit level 2, 1 creep before the Vladimir.
Oh, Spooks and Swiper, though, hanging around. Denies 1 sapling. So that's a thing. Not sure whether it means all that much, though, as just going to head towards that lane. Swiffer was able to grab the little popcorn chickens, and Warble and Destiny taking down the Krug.
Yeah, and they actually are going to stay for the entirety, which means that they will be beaten to lane here. And that will be the shove coming through for Lucian Braum. Definitely not a lane that you want to allow level 2 first.
Yeah, a bit of a jungle follow happening for both of our top laners, leaving their lanes at the moment as Swipe has taken a fair bit of damage. We'll see whether he teleports back into his lane after backing and getting all of his health back. Wouldn't be surprised if he did, as Kensty's already taking a lot of damage from Swiffer. Transfusion, of course, only level 1, not going to be returning too much of that health. Yeah, and that's just a level 2 being hit earlier from the mid lane means that he can go aggressive with that level 2 and really punish the Vladimir. On the other side of the in the top lane, though, it means that Swiper did not hit level 2, so he's still level 1. Porky has that level 2. We'll see whether the Gnar can go aggressive and try and force Maokai out. Yeah, you can see the Chiefs already pushing in this bottom side of the map too on your screen. Warble down to about half health, but Ejim's soaked a fair bit as well. Fairly aggressive. As we do have a look at the top lane at the moment. Porky about to hit that Mega Gnar. Double the CS of Swiper at the moment. Doesn't mean much when it's 4-2. Warble taking the combo here from Radier as that Piercing Light plus the double up. Of course, that's a Misfortune ability. I meant Light Sling. Shelby already looking aggressive. Actually just starting up a Scuttle Crab, trying to get vision of Spooks. They're going to fight for it. Yeah, they're looking for it. Spooks doesn't have his... Oh, actually does have the Smite. Decided not to use it. Very interesting. Red buff is actually on Spooks, which means Shelby can't really fight him, as well as the fact that mid lane has been pushed up. So first little jungle battle going over to the Chiefs. Now looking to see if he can invade the red. Oh my goodness, one more auto attack from Swiffer would have done that. Kensty, he might need to go back already. He's only down by about 4 CS. And you can see he used all 4 of his potions as Spooks is just being annoying. Knows that this Vladimir has been pushed out of lane and can't help his jungler. Yeah, and the bottom lane isn't coming either. Shelby does get it. Locks it down, of course. Smite still up here for Spooks, so just was unable to get that one. Wow. Yeah, Ejim with the stand behind me on one of the minions. Warble uses the Valkyrie to get out. It's a lot of mana now. Won't be able to throw out as many phosphorus bombs in the bottom lane. Yeah, and they're just playing this 2v2 so aggressively because they had eyes on the jungle. They know that mid is being shut down currently. So the Chiefs just feel like no pressure in the world. Let's go aggressive and start abusing Destiny and Warble. Already 5 CS the advantage. Yeah, no sort of kills found just yet, though, by the Chiefs. And what does this mean for Avant? Does their comp... Is it required to scale here, Spawn? Yeah, as soon as you see a Vladimir with any form of AoE, you just think it all fine wine, Atlas. Gets better with age. Whereas you have a look at the team comp that comes through from the Chiefs, and with the Lucian, a little bit more mid-game focus coming through there. 2 big tanks in the form of Swiper as well as Spooks. They're looking to control the map early, see if they can pick up their early advantages around the Dragon area. Yeah, we'll see whether Warble can be that sort of mid-game insurance on the court. He wants to be able to get to that Trinity Force, but we'll see whether he can, as the Chiefs putting a lot of pressure on this bottom side. 37-32 is the farm. And there's a few creeps there for Warble to pick up at the same time, despite the fact that he's very low. And Swiper, once again, winning out quite hard in the top lane. Even Porky being found by a gank. Yeah, Porky actually down to about 250 health, but Prey Seeker not going to be enough to take him down from there. Does mean that the little Gnar is going to get away, but he's quite low. Swiffer once again. Yeah, there's the sweet move from Swiffer, but baits out the pull. Kensty will be okay, just clears up everything with his Tides of Blood and might need to head back once more. No, he has 3 potions and you can just transfuse it as Destiny's been caught. Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. There's the stun. Has to use the flash. Piercing Light wasn't enough, but the flash auto is going to do it. First blood to Radiant. No surprises there as Chelby's also found Spooks. Yeah, and I cannot... Has Swiffer found Shelby here as he's going to have to flash, uses the body slam, and I believe he'll be okay. Swiper responding first in the top lane, so Chiefs look to be on top of their communication early. And this is the danger about picking losing lanes. Really only the Porky lane is going to be a winning lane right now, and Swiper has done his best to get ahead in that. So Avant under a lot of pressure to see whether they can get through this early game. Shelby just being stalked by Spooks. This is what we talked about. Spooks controls the map really well. Shelby wants to fight people. Yeah, Swiffer continuing the aggression as well. As Kensty does have to move further up this lane. Spooks waiting in the wings just a little bit, but probably just wants to take down those puppies. Falling a little bit behind in the farm as far as the jungling is going. Shelby able to be a herbivore in the early stage. See whether he can affect these lanes. We spoke about Shelby. We said, you know, he needs to be making moves for his team. We'll see whether he can get there and do it.
Yeah, exactly right. And you would have to think if he just loses out in a little bit of farm but can secure the control of the map, allow his lanes to excel, Spooks would be more than happy with how this early game is going, especially because of this pressure in the mid lane.
Yeah, more auto attacks. Transfusion not quite doing enough here as it's only an Amp Tome, no Hextech Revolver to come in. But Kensti, I mean, there is scaling to come from this Vladimir. He's going to be able to get a lot of sustain in this lane once he's got that level 9 and built that Hextech Revolver, which he now has in his back pocket.
But look at this, they sent back the bottom lane and Kensti at the same time, so automatically Chiefs start up the Dragon. 7 minutes 40 in standard lanes is an incredibly early Dragon coming through, but they're going to grab it.
Yep, Unbreakable from Ejin's going to stop the Dark Binding as well. Oh, what? It was taken by the pool? What the heck, Destiny?
No smite available for Spook, so a little bit of a miscalculation there in bursting that down. And,
look,
you know,
just auto attack it.
Pool.
Oh my goodness. Destiny the god.
Oh, there must be some red faces on the
Yeah, I didn't even believe it. Ejim's very angry at Destiny at the moment as he throws a door at him.
Chair.
Well, yeah, in this skin, it is a chair. But honestly, that was ridiculous. And AV, now with the first neutral objective of the game, Spawn.
So they control the first neutral objective, and all of a sudden, Shelby feels a little bit more confident. Actually took his blue buff to get that experience advantage, and invading Spooks hard, forcing him off the first major buff.
Yeah, pull down from Kensti, though. Emperor's Divide was used by Swiffer here in the mid lane. Sends his soldiers forward, but they're a bit slow. The Ghost from Vladimir is going to be enough. Ward over means that Kensti will have to go the long way around.
And that's a little bit unlucky for Shelby there. You could see that he wanted to pressure Spooks off that red buff with the level 6, but not able to do so because his mid laner is just being abused right now by Swiffer and not able to get what he wanted done with the early advantage.
Yeah, still has the flash available. Pool is, of course, back up again. Auto attacks from these Sand Soldiers. Not going to find Kensti, this time around. As the CS lead is most definitely there. What the heck is that damage? Winter's Bite doing some work on the Wobble.
Toned up slightly, Winter's Bite.
Yeah, well, slightly seems to be the wrong word.
It was really only a tiny touch up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why weren't people playing Braum? Kensti gets himself back to a decent health amount. Warble actually staying within touching distance of this farm, down by about 11 as the wave is heading towards his turret.
The real surprise for me right now is the fact that Swiper on Maokai has been able to get an advantage over Anar with relatively small influence coming through from Spooks. Very good self-sufficient top laner and has just been able to go toe-to-toe with Corki. Wow, Kensti is so scared.
So scared. That pull came out very quickly. He now might even need to walk around via the river. So Swiffer just zoning so incredibly well in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Shelby just shoving out the bottom lane, trying to secure control of the bottom half of the map with some good vision coming through. Might look to be a fight, though, around this pink board.
Yep, Swiffer has frozen out that mid lane as well, so no way Kensti's going to be getting any more. Just going to take the puppies away. A little bit of jungle gone for Shelby there as he's towards the bottom side, so not looking for that camp just yet. And Avant, some decent defensive vision here watching out for Spooks.
Yeah, but 1,000 gold is the advantage. You know, you throw first blood and the assist gold across to the Chiefs, but it still means that they're CSing in every lane slightly better.
Yeah.
And you're right, they've turned Shelby into this herbivore jungler. He's just been farming it up. Spooks is just continually sweeping out wards, gaining control of the map, and you feel that if Shelby cannot get one of his lanes ahead, either the mid or the top lane, it's going to be bad news for AV.
Well, Warble going down low here as well. Does have the black shield, so not going to get stunned up, but Chiefs with some decent pressure, and AV going to have to be careful. Oh my goodness, that was a light slinger away from death. As Warble has to get out.
Yeah, once again, has to go back. Kensti once again going down so far in this mid lane. Swiffer now with the 30 CS advantage. Sure, that's a huge creep wave, but they're putting so much pressure on Kensti.
Yeah, Swiper actually taking a bit of a vacation here towards the mid lane as Mega Nar's hanging out towards the top. Corki able to shove that wave in. The tree going to head back there as Chiefs continue to pressure the bottom side. Destiny, the last man standing here in this lane as Warble did go back.
And you can see exactly what their game plan is. Get an advantage in mid lane, team up Swiffer and Spooks, walk into Shelby's jungle, deny the important member any resources and farm. And so far, Chiefs are looking great in their game plan.
Yeah, Shelby was able to take that Raptor away, so that's a big deal. But Kensty's just trying to get all the farm that he can, and it's about a creep per wave. At the moment, a lot of pressure from this Azir. And Pocky, you mentioned the fact that he could go the Black Cleaver this game. Looks like he is going towards it now as the Phage is in his back pocket. Doran's Blade and the Ruby Crystal there as well, probably going towards the Kindle Gem. Well,
it makes a lot more sense even now when you see how the game has gone, because it looks like Chiefs are going to stick to a laning phase because they feel like they're winning. But Pocky needs to itemize not for early team fights, especially with Dragon falling so early, they can give up the next one.
Pull down from Kensty, so the attack of the Sand Soldiers is not actually going to land its damage, just sacrifices the 20% that the pull is going to take away from you. Swiffer almost half health on this turret. Shelby makes his way through, but Swiffer not that scared. Yeah, exactly. So Braum hanging around, a lot of extra damage here from these soldiers. Shelby loses half of his health.
So
remember, yeah, not a lot of magic resist on this Gragas.
And you can just see by the way that Swift is playing, he's not scared at all. Destiny's been caught.
Yeah, Destiny should be scared though as he's getting auto-attacked to death. Flashes over the wall. Dark Binding not going to find the Chiefs, but so much pressure everywhere on the map.
And straight away they have to back away from bottom, back away from mid. Now the dive coming through for Warble.
Yeah, there's the culling out as well. Chilling Smite down onto Warble. Flashes after the Valkyrie. He's going to be okay, but the Chiefs going to be able to keep them away from this turret.
Yeah, bottom wave now proxied. This is an Infinity Edge user against the components of what looks to be the Trinity Force coming through, and this is where Corki should excel. Phage Sheen is where Corki generally gets ahead in lane. Instead, there's a 30 CS discrepancy. That tower is going to fall. There's a 40 CS discrepancy in mid lane. That turret's going to fall, and Chiefs in complete control.
Yeah, Swiffer just sets up his Sun turret here as AV. They're looking for Swiper. Not into the wall. There's the crush down on top at Swiper. He's not dying. Warble's going to take him down with a hyper proc, and AV managed to get one back.
Yeah, so Porky coming up with the kill there, but action not over.
My gosh.
The Avant lineup still very much struggling in the other lanes. We'll be able to answer with the top turret.
Well, Chiefs trying to grab their first dragon here as the puddle will be available. Oh, Dark Binding lands under the dragon, but it's already down to about 800 health. Rockets coming in. Are they going to be able to do it? No, they're just hanging around. Was the turret falling down? Actually thought that the blue notification there on the screen was the dragon, but it is going to be spook securing.
Certainly is. So Dragons now evened up. Turrets in the advantage of the Chiefs. They've leapt out to a couple of 1,000 gold lead. And if we check in with the items, first mage is completed for the mid lane, as it is going to be the Morellonomicon and the Woda picked up for Swiffer and Kensty respectively. But the cheaper version of the Needlessly Large Rod also picked up.
Yeah, so Swiffer are going to be able to have a little bit of extra AP there. Of course, did lose about 20 of it, but it is going to be a little bit less expensive here, only about 1,200. Gives you 60 AP. Pretty good as far as that item is concerned, and can build it into a whole lot of different things. We'll see whether Swiffer decides to go for Orale's Crystals after this game, now that it has seen a little bit more popularity.
Yeah, of course, the Sand Soldier's now 40% slow coming through there, so good pickup if Swiffer does want to go for it. Swiper's on the bottom side of the map. They've rotated their bottom lane top and looking to secure the last outer turret.
Yeah, Swiper just going on a bit of a journey here as Radius just going to try and double tap this turret to death. Porky's up there though, trying to defend that one out. Lots of members of the Chiefs rotating around as Destiny and Shelby going for an excursion in the jungle.
And they've already swapped Kensty out of Swiffer's lane. They've sent Corki there. They don't really mind whether Warble falls a little bit behind. They need to get some farm onto their Vladimir. So the call's being made and looks like they'll be able to take a turret.
Yeah, they're going to trade turrets here as the Chiefs take out the full outer ring. It is going to be the outer turret in the bottom lane falling for Avant though in response. As Destiny takes about a third of his health there from Swiffer. Preyseeker finds him as well. And the Chiefs just moving around this map, taking down all the structures.
Yeah, and already Radia's on his way. They have to burn teleport.
Yeah, Corky is going to have to... Sorry, Porky going to have to teleport in here.
Go
Swiffer,
in.
yeah, takes a bit of damage.
I really thought he was going to pull the trigger on that one. Does a lot of damage as Meganar. You can see Swiffer in some trouble.
Yeah, getting houses pegged at him here as the rockets come through. My
that
goodness.
binding was... I think it grazed his backside there, Atlas.
Yeah, grazed his backside would be exactly how I would put it, my friend. Barrel's going to come through from Shelby as well, as AV are able to group together and get some pressure back in this mid lane. Don't lose the turret just yet. And the Chiefs with a 2,000 gold lead. Still in control. We'll see whether Avant can group together and use these big Wombo ultimates in a way that's going to work out.
Yeah, so the Chiefs, after all the trading that's happened on the map, equaling Dragons up one turret, only the last mid-outer surviving for the Chiefs. And you would have to think that this is exactly where they wanted the game at 17 minutes. Open up the map. Make sure that Spooks is in the driver's seat, that they're playing Spooks' style of game. No longer any lanes to gank for Chelby. Instead, he has to group up earlier than they would have expected. They've got the Trinity Force and first major items coming through for all their laners. You can see it's just that half an item advantage for the Chiefs in every position. That means they're a little bit stronger when the fights occur.
Yeah, Radier does have the Zeal in his back pocket as well as that Infinity Edge. So we're talking about Trinity Force Power Spikes. This Lucian, probably one of the best just Infinity Edge characters as well. So he's no slouch at the same time.
Yeah, definitely the best just Infinity Edge user coming through there. As Chelby getting invaded.
Yeah, he's pretty tanky though as the fat man.
But it's just the control. You're not used to people being in Chelby's jungle.
Yeah.
You're used to Chelby going into other people's jungles, trying to fight the top laner, trying to gain control of the map. But right now, Spooks is just strangling him through superior vision.
Swiffer as well, throwing out Sand Soldiers left, right, and center, sending them into battle. And he's got a lot of pressure here in this lane. Warble able to get some decent damage off, but there's the attack in response. Kenzie just tides of blooding this wave over and over again. Yes, Spawn, it is a verb. A verb? A verb.
What's a blurb?
I have no idea. I think it's the back of a book. Said wrong. The Chiefs just going to put some pressure continually on this bottom side of the map. I feel like we're saying pressure a lot, but it's because there's a lot of it in this game.
It certainly is, and Swift are going to be successful in taking out that mid turret unless someone gets it.
Yep, it's going to happen. The Arise is going to take that one down. Chiefs with their 4th turret of the game, but really opening up the map with that one.
Yeah, and Avant's game plan, isolate their top lane. Just get as much farm onto Porky as possible. See if he can bully Swiper around, but it's just not working. Swiper conceding a lot, backing away to his turret, still up in CS, doing a fantastic job on Maokai of neutralizing the Gnar, and no advantages to be gained right now.
Yeah, and despite the sort of change to the Righteous Glory, looks like Swiper's still happy to go for that item. Even Ejim, considering it by the looks of things, has the makings of the item there in his back pocket. See what they decide to do. Of course, it's only had an increased cooldown and lost a bit of the health on the item, so still is going to be able to get the same job done, just not quite as much.
Exactly right. You know, movement speed is incredibly important to the Chiefs. You need to be able to make their way around the map. So you understand why even with the nerf, it's still a very high prioritized item to be able to get their tanks in there.
Boomerang going to land on the Spooks. He's very tanky. Egypt hanging around with him as well. Barrel going to scout out this brush. Notices the fact that they do have the pink ward in here. Chief's going to make short work of that ward.
But good job here from Avant to gain the inside track. Not going to be able to go through the Mega Gnar, but Swiffer jumps the wall.
Yep, he's going to be able to clear out this minion wave very quickly as well. Does have a whole lot of different AP items. In fact, the 20, 40, and 60 as Spooks has gone in. There's the culling as well out the backside. Chelby gets knocked up. Destiny's there as well. Chelby, he's going to die. Swiffer makes his way in to pick up the kill. Swiper just being a massive frontline. In goes Swiffer. There's the bounce back on the Warble. Can't get over the Emperor's Divide. Triple kill for Swiffer now as Swiper is going to get flashed out of the way of, and it's a decent wallop, but Porky, he's going to gnar himself to death as Kenzie now the last man standing, and I don't think he can grab anything from this.
And as we said, it's just the little item advantages coming through for the Chiefs, and they're just stronger at the moment. AV didn't need to fight. They secured the first dragon of the game. Instead, get caught out of position, engaged upon and made pay. And that Emperor's Divide was sick. Let's take another look at it. You see, they just catch everyone out. Chelby dies without being able to throw the ultimate. Decent Hemo Plague, but Porky's Mini Gnar, not Mega Gnar. And they just walk too close to the soldiers. Emperor's Divide come through. Triple kill picked up for Swiffer. After that, he can go farm the mid lane. Job done, mate.
Yep.
Porky tries his best to get some combo down, but it's just not going to happen.
It was in the end of 3-man Gnar, so I mean, he can talk about that. But, you know, Avant just really didn't look like that was their fight to take. We'll see whether they can turn it around, though, as you know, their team fight will be fantastic moving forward. Everyone knows about the late game Vladimir. Ejim's going to get caught by that Dark Binding. Stunned up there a little bit as well, as Explosive Cask is in fact going to be used. He's pretty tanky, but they deliver the kill over to Kenzie.
Important kill to pick up there, so Kenzie's been able to grab one back for himself. You can just feel Swiffer strangling Kenzie out of this game. Historically, Swiffer does get the better of the matchup, and it seems to be no different today. Death Cap picked up with all those AP components we were mentioning. And you're right, they need to scale. There's no other way to phrase it right now. AV just need to get some good vision around Baron like they have and allow the waves to come to them, because they cannot make aggressive 5v5 players with a mid laner 50 CS and 2 kills behind.
Yeah, and how does their team go as far as defending sieges? Because the Chiefs, they are going to have to start taking down turrets at some point. And will AV be able to stall that out?
Yeah, so they definitely have the ability of creating a pick with the Morgana or the Gragas combo coming through there if the Chiefs ever get lazy rotating between turrets. The problem is that the Arise just creates so much more pressure by being able to strangle people with the turret placement coming in there.
Yep.
So it is a hard job, and maintaining map control when behind against the Chiefs is nearly an impossible task right now in the OPL.
Yeah, they're just going to be clearing out all of that vision. You can see 3 sweepers already picked up by the Chiefs to the 2 that AV decided to go with. Destiny going to be discovered by Spooks, who's taken up residence in the AV jungle. Doesn't like his at the moment, not as many creeps hanging around.
You can see a huge item advantage right now for Radier coming through. He's got the Phantom Dancer.
My goodness.
To just the Trinity Force upgraded boots.
The 2 item spikes coming out of the Chiefs is ridiculous actually, because Locket in the Iron Solari completed with the Cinder Hulk on the side of Spooks with a cheeky side stone there. Explosive Cask actually used by Shelby mostly to get rid of the minions, as Kensty's going to come around and finish off the rest of the wave. Dark Binding lands on a Swiffer. There's the Glacial Fissure actually out of Egypt, so they didn't want Swiffer getting caught there.
Well, the Wombo combo was huge. You had a Mega Nut and Kensty, who's picked up his Zonya's Hourglass now, ready to engage onto that if they wanted to. Had to burn a Braum ultimate to keep them safe.
Can't think just yet. Well, we'll see whether the Chiefs can use these 2 item power spikes. Of course, Raven's Death Cap, as you said before, and the Phantom Dancer here for Radier, but yeah, that's one auto attack.
Sent 2 Sand Soldiers through 4 members.
Yep.
And look at the wave control. Mid lane pushing in, bottom lane starting to stack up. In about 40 seconds time, that will be crashing into the bottom turret. Chiefs just controlling Avant and then moving around the map.
Yeah, the culling comes out one more time. Spooks looking for the knock-up, but not going to get it. The Chiefs look for a fight. Don't find it at all. Decent wave clear from Avant. They are staving off this push from the Chiefs. Dark Binding one more time. There's the Emperor's Divide, but he's still stuck there. Takes a lot of damage. Rocket to come down, but not going to be enough. As Shelby, Warble looks for it, gets the shutdown onto Swiffer with the manliest play I've seen out of this player.
Yeah, and Kensty didn't dump the Hemo Plague, so Warble just goes in. Body Swiffer, got caught out by a Dark Binding. This is what we said, if the Chiefs ever get sloppy, there is so much pick potential to come through from Morgana as well as the Gragas, and they're able to make them pay.
Yeah, well, you didn't mention the Corky. Able to grab the picks when they needed, of course, was the Dark Binding. You're right. Completely correct, but they're trying to siege down this turret. Body slamming to get Shelby out, but low health bars of AV is going to make it a bit dangerous here, and Radier still very, very healthy. Tunnel can be taken from Spooks if he wants to, but AV, they're going to find some damage on the mid turret, but that's about it.
But they buy the respite they need, remember. As long as they're not losing the game right now, Avant are winning because they have the composition that gets better with time. There's always going to be a range issue with Lucian. Sure, if he's able to freely hit one of the highest damage AD carries, but with the minimal range against something like a Gnar or the Vladimir, going to be very easy to return damage onto him. Same thing with Swiffer, really. Has long-range poke, but consistent damage needs to be quite close. But Chiefs look like they're going to pull the trigger on a Baron.
Yeah, it has been pinged that Avant don't know what's going on. So Baron has been started up here by the Chiefs in full vision of Avant by the looks of things, as Winner's Bite's going to come down to stop Shelby from getting in. Dark Binding not going to find Swiffer this time. 3,000 health on the Baron. Chiefs peel away from it. Swiper looking to try and get some damage down there. Focusing the Baron. Shelby's in there. Steals the Baron. Warble in the backside. Egypt knocked into the wall with the Mega Nut. There's a rock to take him down too. As Spooks very tanky now on the front line. Radier trying to kite around the house. Misses him. Radier takes down the Mega Nut as Warble and Destiny have them stuck in the pit. Tunnel gets over. Kensty ghosting his way into this fight. Dark Binding not going to find the Tree Man, but AV, they're probably more than happy to turn around now because they've got the Baron.
Yeah, they trade 2 for 2. They pick up the Baron, narrow the gold lead. What a steal coming out of Shelby there.
I get so scared whenever Shelby gets anywhere near something to smite because he's not often beaten in that war.
He certainly is not. You know, people say that is coming in as a jungler, you actually have more of an advantage smiting because all the pressure is on the opponent's to be able to time everything coming through. Let's take another look. They zone away. You can see they're holding off damage, trying to burst it. It actually looks like Spooks went early there, and Shelby just body slammed in and able to take it away.
Yep, just nicked that one out, and you can see AV now trying to get the work done. If that house had hit Radiant, might have been a different story.
And that's a 4v5, by the way.
Yeah, Kenzie wasn't there, as he's going to find Ejim now. Of course, he's in this fight. Tides of Blood still able to get some work done. Hemo play down. Radiant is the focus. It is going to be Destiny falling down first. Radiant able to get himself out as Swiper's found his way into the fight. Ejim very, very low. Radiant still getting damage in this fight. Kenzie uses the Zhonya's, takes down Ejim, doesn't have the pull, and Porky, you're exactly right, didn't have Meganar.
Just didn't have the time to transform in that fight, used the teleport to get in there, and it just wasn't going to happen. All of a sudden, Avant secures some control over the map, could have used it to push some waves, but instead take a team fight and a made pay.
Yep, Porky tried to get the boomerang steal, not going to find it this time. Not as powerful as a Tormented Soil from a support Morgana, apparently. Well, we're going to head towards this bottom side of the map, grab himself this farm that was generously shoved in by Swiffer and Swiper.
They're actually pinging out onto the Spook-Swiffer combo here.
Yeah, Porky still with some decent rage.
Sure he would have liked that going into the last fight.
Yes. Radiant, massive red dot syndrome as they stack up against this inner turret in the top lane, able to take that one down. A whole lot of piercing lights and some auto attacks. Critting like you would not believe. Going for a Bloodthirster is his third item.
Yeah, so not much armor finished up yet. So just trusting himself to be able to get to the last Whisper before it really becomes a breaking point.
I guess there's not a lot of burst damage that he has to worry about too much as well, so the sustain could be useful. Although Warble, probably enough. Don't know. Not sure about this.
I'm going to say if you get Nard with a Hemo Plague on you, you're probably going to die from the burst.
Yeah. So there's a lot of burst damage. I wonder why I went into this test.
Just persistent damage himself coming through there. Overshield will be useful, but they use their last remaining Baron buff on Warble to be able to secure a turret. And now, with control over the top side of the jungle, of course, that's Chief's territory.
Yeah.
AV looking to see if they can create a pick.
Yeah, AV just moving around as a unit now as well. Spooks hanging around by the blue buff, going to be taking that one away. Winter's Bite finds Kenzie, some decent damage from Swiffer as well. Destiny and Shelby standing in this brush. Tides of Blood from Kenzie is going to be able to take down these minions. Apart from that one cheeky one there who gets transfused to death.
And after, like, there's still a 60 CS discrepancy between Kenzie and Swiffer. So Swiffer has done a fantastic job, but credit to the AV mid laner of keeping himself relevant as this game goes on.
Yeah, it does now have the Abyssal Scepter as well, so sort of the double defensive AP items that work offensively at the same time, and the Zhonya's in the Abyssal, and has the sustain from the Will of the Ancients with those Sorcerer Shoes, not opting for any extra cooldown reduction, probably has some maximum range.
Looks like he wants to go.
Yeah, it's trying to crush his way in. Actually lands the house onto Swiper here. They're looking for it. Wallop comes down onto the tree, loses half of his health already. There's the first one. Explosive cast from Shelby, and they're trying to get this fight started. Wallop onto Radiant from Porky in the front line. Hemo Plague's down Shelby. He's going to get taken out, though, as Swiffer's turning it on. Pull down from Kenzie. He's going all in on this fight, as the Zhonya's. But now in front of 5 people, it's the double kill for the Chiefs. And AV, they tried to start the fight, but the Chiefs were ready.
That was just a brain fade. They didn't have the layer of the Gnar as well as the Hemo Plague to come across. The Vladimir was way too far behind, and instead a huge Gnar goes across for absolutely zero effect because the Chiefs members kite back, keep Spooks in the front line to soak up all of that damage, and then reverse it and smash Avant. They're going to break the base.
Yep, able to easily take down this turret dice very quickly. Porky going to get smashed back into the team, just easily gets taken down by Radiant. 8-0 and 5, going legendary in this game. They lose the top inhibitor. Warble going to be taking down the minions. But AV looking like they're desperately trying to find anything here. Even Swiper getting engaged on one more time. You'd think that Warble would have learnt from last time.
And you know, let's go back to our key matchup. It was the jungle, Shelby versus Spooks. Shelby currently 0-4 and 5. Couldn't get any of the lanes going. Spooks, on the other hand, very utility phase, controlled the entirety of the early game, along with his mid laner. 0-0-13 out of 14 kills. This guy just does not die. Spooks is immortal.
He is. Really getting to that point. He's over 90% of the kill participation for this game as well. Only missing out on one. With Radier, of course, 8-0 and 5 now as well, contributing to a lot of the success of the Chiefs. And it's just the show of exactly what the Chiefs have been able to do all split.
Except this time they were able to pick winning lanes. Braum, Lucian, so strong coming in this. As we said, Porky the only person with really a winning lane. And the Chiefs just trusted their gut, able to get in there and really have impacted strong early game. And now they're just rolling with it because they've created this huge lead, 6,000 gold. That's with giving up a Baron.
Yeah, they had that stolen away. The first Dragon as well, the only that AV were able to pick up. This could have been very close to a perfect game from the Chiefs if they had have managed to grab that first one, and of course the Baron. All the neutrals would have been in their favor, but it was steals from Avant keeping them in this game. Now the siege is on one more time.
Porky takes damage from Swiffer right now because the Void Staff was picked up nice and early. AV still trying their best to defend. Game definitely not over as long as you have the scaling coming through from Vladimir and the threat of a 5-man, you're in it, but it's just becoming that uphill push.
Yeah, and they need to make up their mind whether they want to engage or defend this top lane push from the super minions that are coming in from the Chiefs. Of course, with this inhibitor down, just means that AV going to be feeling this push so much more. The longer the Chiefs can keep them here, the better it is. Of course, they've even got Swiper with the teleport at the ready, able to push down the mid lane as well. Kenzie taking so much poke from Swiffer. He's doing so much work with these Sand Soldiers. Another command attack.
Turret's gone.
Yep, it's been taken down here as Swiper makes his way in. There's the twisted advance onto Chelby. Black Shield was there, but the culling almost finishes him off. Porky making his way in with the teleport, cancels it out as Kenzie uses the pull at exactly the right time. Explosive cast doing some work. Dark Binding not finding anyone, but it's all disengaged for AV, and I don't even think it's going to work.
Yeah, and the turret's going to be tanked. They need to fight right now.
Now, Super Creep still being dealt with here by the turrets of AV. They're not going to be able to stop this push. Inhibitor in the bottom lane falling down. Chiefs able to destroy that. Swiper relatively low as AV trying to take him down, but Warble gets destroyed by Radier. Has to go back to base. Hemoplague's down. Kenzie takes so much damage. Uses the pull. Hemoplague going to erupt. Nice use of the Zhonya's there to keep him alive. Empress Divide back though. Massive amounts of damage, and the Chiefs clean up house. Triple kill for Radier. And Warble, last man standing, needs to wait on the fountain. I have a feeling this could be game over.
The kills delivered to Radier on a silver platter by his mid laner. They're going to dismantle the rest of the base, coerce some minions in there, but the Chiefs have played a phenomenal 34-minute game. 10,000 gold lead, and they're going to take it.
Yeah, the Chiefs just able to take advantage after advantage this game. Radier still wanting to get more out of this one. Heal's going to be popped to keep Ejim alive, and the Nexus falls. First semi-final game down for the Chiefs. They're one up in this best of 5.
You see the big smile coming out of Spooks on the screen there? He would have been quite grumpy if they dropped it due to a Baron, but guys just continuing to talk that one through, and intense game 1. Chiefs good early. A little bit of a bite back out of AV with that Baron steal. They're just not able to get it done. Time and time again, Chiefs just edge their way ahead in team fights.
Yeah, it just wasn't quite there for Avant. We've seen teams try and scale against this lineup, and it's just the mid-game power of the Chiefs and how they move around the map that is so, so strong. We'll see whether Avant changes that up.
Yeah, well, what happened is that Avant continually got pushed in, and Shelby looked like he wanted to be busy around the map. As you take a look at Kenzie, did not have a great laning phase there on Vladimir, but did do his late-game job.
Yeah.
And you thought this might be the Avant game to win because Shelby, with the lanes push, can get busy, can start really ganking, but Spooks just kept tabs on him around the map. And I wonder if Rek'Sai is going to be the pick away to try and get rid of some of that vision control that she provides.
Well, I mean, the Tremor Sense was very, very useful, but Spooks, he can just play everything spawn. I just don't think that trying to ban away Spooks is going to work against the Chiefs.
Yeah, so you have to ban a strategy against the Chiefs. Okay. You can't get rid of all their champion pools, because I agree, they just play everything. But if vision control is what's hurting you, Rek'Sai is the best vision control jungler because of the Tremor Sense and being able to track the opponent. Just get it off the board, try something else. Because right now, you would lift about 15 champions you would like to ban, but what beat them that game was Spooks controlling the map early.
Yeah, Swiffer staying ahead in that mid lane as well. I mean, Kenzie not having the greatest time, but Vladimir not known to win the lane. And do they put Kenzie now on something that can carry them through? Is that an opportunity here on some sort of lane bully?
Yeah, potentially you put him on a lane bully, but realistically, being shoved in time and time again should be punishable. It just wasn't able to be that game.
Well, we'll see whether anybody else has some ideas as we throw it out to Pastry Time time in Rusty just outside.
Thank you very much, Atlas. And yeah, I'm back here with Rusty into the war room. In game one, we expect it to be a pretty explosive playoffs here, but the Chiefs, in style, do take the first one.
Chiefs, in standard fashion, of course, doing what they do best and slowly closing the game out through very strong vision, objective control, minion wave control. It was all just playing into their hands and their strengths.
And look, we saw some strong flashes of brilliance from Avant there. Like, you can see what they're trying to do, how they play. But I feel like some of the team comps there were interesting, honestly. Very common stuff that we've seen from both these teams. Avant especially just straight back on the Vladimir train.
Yeah, definitely. Sticking to what works for them, essentially. But the big concern about that is it doesn't necessarily always work against the Chiefs. They're a very standard team style, but the way they execute means that you have to be very careful with what you pick.
Yeah, let's have a look at the team comps now, actually, and see what both teams are bringing to the table. As you can see on the top side, let's start with Avant. We've got the Null, we've got the Gragas, Vladimir, which of course is a big standard there for Kensti. And then this is maybe where we're to start with Rusty. Warble on the Corki and Destiny or Morgana.
So they've picked a very, you look at this team comp, it does look quite strong. Of course, they've got the Na, they've got the Corki. It's a bit of a mid-game focus from these teams, but in saying that, they did compensate with a Black Cleaver at the very least. They're still very mid-game focused almost entirely. So you do have a window where the Chiefs start to just outscale them almost in its entirety through their team comp strengths. You have a look at Avant. They've got the Vladimir to augment that, so you give them, say, an extra 5 or 10 minutes in how long they've got left in the game. But it does eventually start to peter off, and that's exactly what we saw.
Yeah, I mean, just like you mentioned, the itemization, they're just simple, but for the Chiefs, they're by the end of it, because Corki's just doing so much magic damage as an AD that it's just like, well, I guess we know what to build.
Yeah, exactly right. And the Chiefs, we did see that from them. Their team comp was designed to outscale it eventually just because the mixed sources of damage that they have, the physical, the magical, they just played the game smart. Of course, there was a couple steals here and there, but all in all, they did find a very strong victory.
Yes, so let's pull up our first replay here and see kind of what we're looking for. We'll talk about mid-game team fights here. We're going to have one of the first ones here, and you can see what Avant want to do here, but they're just not in a position to do so. Behind a couple of thousand gold, just not quite working for them yet.
Yeah, so at this stage in the game, the Avant are actually in a power point. They may not be directly ahead of the Chiefs lineup. Their team is still very strong, but itemization in particular. You have a look at the Corki. He has the Trinity Force and the Sork Shoes completed. You have a look at the Vladimir mid lane. He has his Will of the Ancients and a needlessly large rod with his Sork Shoes. Their damage compared to the rest of the Chiefs in the mid game should be higher. So we'll roll this clip through and just notice how the way that the fight actually started was on the Chiefs' terms. They were able to make this work very easily for them, picking up a kill onto Chelby. And if we could just pause it here, you can see how good this looks for the Chiefs because they've just made this pick on a Chelby. He's down. All 5 members of the Chiefs remaining. This is the point where Avant actually realize that they probably don't want to be there. They should back up a little bit. So roll it through. But keep in mind Swiffer's decision-making here. He knows they are so out of position. They wanted to back up, but just one little bit extra poke, and they pay for it with their lives. The Chiefs find a very easy team fight. A triple kill for Swiffer all in all. That's exactly what they needed at this stage in the game. 20 minutes in, where Avant were hitting a power point.
You saw Porky there, Mega a little too late there in that fight. Couldn't get in there to really have that high impact ulti, and Kensti running around trying to find a flank and then couldn't find a way in either.
Exactly. It came down to Chiefs executing on their terms and fighting when they felt ready to do so, and that's exactly what we saw there.
But like we said, we actually did see some nice moments from Avant, so let's pull up another replay now. This time, going to be a nice little move coming out from Shelby.
Yeah, so this replay in particular, I don't need to describe to you exactly what happened. We'll just start rolling this one through. And Chelby, the unsung hero of this right now, manages to steal away that Baron. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was. Let's roll the clip out now and just see Shelby. He's going to go to town. He knows the Baron. Chiefs committing to try and finish it here, but it all goes wrong.
Chiefs took a very long time and they were telegraphed in doing so. So Chelby hits the miracle steal. The rest of the Chiefs are now stuck in the Baron pit to try and get some semblance of a team fight. You maybe question Warble's in aggro. He wasn't very aggressive. In aggro, what's that? He wasn't very aggressive. He let them escape the pit, but they still stole the Baron. They got the team fight back. And the most important part of this actual fight is they were still in a power point. Given the fact that the Chiefs had won a fight earlier, it didn't mean anything because the team comp that Avant were running was designed to win at that time in the game.
Yeah, in that replay, they're about 3,000 gold behind, but like you said, stole the Baron. That's plenty of extra gold coming in as far as your stats go, getting buffed up by a Baron. Lots of minutes to play with there on Avant. They tried to close it out from that point. They were showing strength, but let's pull up our final replay now, and you can just see the Chiefs and their team fighting. Even though we're not that late into the game, 30 minutes in, they start to take over.
Yeah, they stole the Baron. They got 2 towers from all of that, but they were still behind in gold. And we looked at this at the very beginning. We looked at these team comps. Chiefs were going to outscale them. So just roll this one through and keep in the back of your mind the way that Swiffer actually plays the zone here. Porky's starting in Mega Gnar this time, doing work, and they actually start to look like they have a decent team fight. But if we can just pause it here as well, you can see Swiffer. You can just see a Sand Soldier down there. This is where he starts to flank. All the Chiefs had to do was stay alive during that engage. They kited back, and they were working in a very small area, a very linear area for them to outplay the Avant side. So just continue this one through. You can see Swiffer basically zoning out Warble for the rest of this fight. Kensti left to his own devices in a 1v4 essentially at this stage. And try as they might, Avant, it had already hit that point, the 30-minute mark, where you question if Avant can bring it back or if the Chiefs have completely outscaled their opponents. That is what they did right there, and they picked up a convincing victory off that team fight.
Yeah, had some strong looking lanes, sort of carried that through, finally got to the pinnacle of that game, and all of a sudden like, yep, not only are we ahead, but we feel confident fighting you. And Avant, execution-heavy team comp, we've seen this time and time again from them playing these sorts of Vladimir-style comps, but I feel like without the Sivir especially, they just couldn't pull off the same comp. They couldn't get everyone in there.
Yeah, so there's a few things about that game that you do want to bring up here. It's the fact that Avant picked losing lanes first and foremost, besides maybe the top lane there, Porky, was actually quite comfortable against the Maokai. But you look mid lane, it hit a point where Swiffer was 1v2ing Chelby and Kensti comfortably, keeping them there. That unlocks the bot lane of the Chiefs. Ejin was roaming around with spooks. They were holding their hands together as they were invading the jungle of Avant and taking everything away from them. So maybe picking losing lanes is not a very smart idea against the Chiefs because of the way they work around controlling the map and how they can translate that into leads.
And yeah, really fun stuff there. But let's see. We're going to get into game 2 there with Atlas.